Hey everyone, Joel Graves here, and today we're talking about a recent League of Legends LCS matchup that happened this past weekend with Immortals, IMT, and Counter Logic Gaming, CLG. Before we break down this matchup, let's talk about the standings. IMT before this match was 1-6 in the season, and CLG was 4-3. Definitely a uphill battle for Immortals. With that out of the way, let's hop into Champ Select. So in this game, Immortals had blue side and CLG had red side. The first three bans for Immortals were Silas, Yone, and Seraphine. And for CLG, it was Azir, Fiora, and Swain. I think it's very important to denote what advantages teams get for being on which side. So Immortals, who is blue side, is able to get first pick, while CLG on red side is able to secure a last pick, which allows them to get counter picks and Champ Select. To break down a little bit of the bans from Immortals, it looks like they're definitely targeting the mid and bot side of the map with the Silas, Yone, and Seraphine pick. However, with CLG, it looks like they're focusing on their bans across the entire map, with Azir being a mid laner, Fiora generally being a top laner, and Swain generally being a very strong and aggressive support. For the first pick for Immortals, they're going to lock in their ADC Zeri, who is generally a new champion. She's been released within the last year. Very strong, very mobile, and speedy AD carry, it's a really good pick if you're able to kite and not get crowd controlled. However, with CLG, it looks like they're focusing on a potential combo of Gragas and Kalista. Generally, Kalista hasn't been meta in the past, but definitely a very strong pick. Again, if this AD carry isn't able to be CC'd and is able to play pretty freely. I think it's definitely going to depend for the Kalista pick for CLG if the support is going to be able to peel off all of the dive that Immortals can potentially have. Picking up the next two picks for Immortals is going to be Gangplank and Poppy. Definitely two very strong picks. Gangplank up in the top lane, going to be definitely a very high scaling champion, able to get level 13, huge power spike, and just a very late game champion. And on the side of CLG, they have Yasuo locked in, which is a very strong pick with Kalista and Gragas, both champions having great knockup, so potentially having a great synergistic wombo combo if they're able to pull it off. To wrap up Champ Select, we have the last two bans in the second ban phase for IMT being Renata and Ornn. And for CLG, we have LeBlanc and Talia. Now, on to the last two picks for both teams. We have Ahri and Nautilus for IMT, locking in their 5 champ. And for CLG, we have Gwen and Alistar. To recap both team comps, for IMT we have Gangplank in the top lane, Poppy jungle, Ahri mid, Zeri ADC, and Nautilus support. And for CLG, we have Gwen top, Gragas jungle, Yasuo mid, Kalista ADC, and Alistar support. Before we hop in game, I'm going to make a quick prediction and say that IMT definitely won Champ Select. Poppy is definitely a very strong pick, but you don't want to count CLG out. Honestly, both of these team comps might be more even than I thought, with Yasuo having so many avenues for knockouts for the synergy with his ultimate. So definitely going to be a very interesting game, but I think Poppy just counters every champion on CLG's roster. So we'll have to see what ends up happening, but let's get straight into the game. The early game is quite standard for both teams. Jungler's doing generally a full-ish clear. However, we do have a 245 gank coming off into the bot lane by CLG. So here's a clip of that happening.
CLG, they're looking to stop that good. Early. Poom goes in. Headbutt pulverized, ready to go. As Contracts is joining up, and Lost has done just that. It is losing the first blood to CLG. Immortals AD carry is gone.
After that first blood, Immortals does fall behind. However, they do catch some momentum back when they get a double kill, killing the enemy bot lane. And let's see a clip of that happening as well.
That way if he can look for an all-in.
Okay, Power of Evil showing up bottom lane. They go in after Poom, but the timing isn't right from Luger. Poom's gonna get saved, but now he's under pressure. Luger getting away. He stays alive for now, but Canvy's ready to go. Slam into the wall, takes down the first, and can they get the second? Poom wants to buy time, but time's too pricey. Lost gets the money, and Immortals get both their targets.
Yeah, Immortals back him up with the Kalista.
And hey, props to Lost. Despite the fact that he got killed 2 times very early on in this lane and he's against a Callista, he still has farm advantage in this lane. But we got a TP showing up. We got Immortals looking to play the game here as Luger is taken out. Revenge seals the deal.
Yet again, another clip up here with Immortals actually starting to battle it back and starting to build an advantage for themselves, getting another double kill on CLG's bot lane, which really starts to build the momentum throughout the game. This game has definitely been so interesting so far. It's been very, very back and forth. CLG getting the first blood, picking up 3 early kills in the early game. Immortals starting to battle it back towards the mid game. And now, you know, they're starting to really, really build the lead. Although they don't have a dragon at this point, I mean, they're starting to get their champions online. Zeri, Aura, and Gangplank are very, very good into the late game, and Poppy is just such a absolute monster of a pick with being able to shut down all the dashes on honestly every single champion that CLG has. So definitely a really, really good team comp for them. Let's skip a little bit off into later in the game. Immortals have really, really battled it back at this point. 4 kills up, it's 8-4, 2,000 gold up at this point, and here is another key defining point for Immortals in this matchup. They're able to pick off 2 CLG members, which is huge because it allows them to pick up a free Baron afterwards, which is such a great play and really cements their momentum in this game. Saladin, I mean, this is pretty big for CLG. They're definitely not out of the game at this point, but being able to shut down people with Baron, being gold down, definitely a power play for CLG.
Go over there and rush it down, but I'm not even certain that they can get that in time. Would be a little bit risky. Either way, though, Immortals 2 for 0. They grab the Baron. Looks like they will reset, so they won't try to get down here and contest. So will be a second dragon for CLG, but that is nothing that you're concerned about on the Immortals side. They are just dominating CLG straight up. I mean, CLG had a good early couple minutes in that 2v2 and with the early gank from contracts. Yeah, that's been about it for bright spots for CLG in this game. They have not been able to really make anything happen since then. It's been all Immortals all the time. The charm forces out the early win wall, and then he says, all right, win wall's up.
Such a monumentous play by CLG. Although they did come out pretty even gold and kill wise, they were able to take again 4 Barons off of Immortals. Huge momentum stop for them. And now we go off to one of the last, this is the last play, the last team fight of this match. This is the decider of who is going to win this game. So let's check it out. I mean, it's pretty interesting. The game has been going back and forth all game long, so let's check it out.
They both go down. They lose the Baron. Immortals pushing here.
All right, Poom goes in, Palafox goes in, Lost goes right back out, and now Palafox is in some trouble, under some pressure. He's going to be blown up. Immortals having a killing spree as Lost uses the stasis yet again to stay alive. Revenge peels up with the orange. Now it's Poom in some trouble. Dokla's chopping him up a little bit, but Power of Evil has arrived. Immortals lose 3, CLG do the same. 2v2 left on the map, and Power of Evil is on the hunt. He goes into the orb, not going to find it. Luger barely getting away. Flash charm.
Oh no!
Misses, and Power of Evil will pay with his life.
Oh man,
GG's to both teams. Wow, what an amazing play from CLG. 3-man Yasuo ulti, able to get 3 members and pick off 3 members of Immortals. A great play, able to come back in the game after they had really been behind ever since the mid game. So really good job by them. Really good job by Immortals as well. Really able to come back from their early game deficit. But at the end of the day, CLG is going to take this game. And thanks again for everyone for tuning in, and you guys can catch me next time.
just Kenvi and PoE. Immortals try to take the fight and they get roasted by CLG. And just like that, it's all over.
Chugga, 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 chugga. That's the sound of the
Choo-choo
train. And it has the track straight down mid lane. Power of Evil tries to escape.
All the minions are gone.
Tries to help him hold the line. The minions are gone, but it won't matter. Kenvi's juggled up into the air, and CLG don't care. 33 minutes in, they take Immortals out.
What a comeback from CLG.